Good morning, myself, Nang Menupa Mantal. Today, we're going to study on the topic, the rise of nationalism in Europe. There were no nation states in Europe prior to the 19th century. Germany, Italy, and Switzerland were divided into kingdoms, duchies and cantons, whose rulers had their autonomous territory. There are various regions and events that led to the rise of nationalism in Europe. First of all, in order to study the topic on the rise of nationalism in Europe, we shall begin with nationalism. What is nationalism? Nationalism is an ideology and movement that promotes the interests of a particular nation, especially with nation sovereignty over its homeland. In the 19th century, there was forced nationalism and its end product was nation state. It replaced the multinational dynastic empire of Europe. Before the nation state, the concept of modern state was already there in Europe. Now, what is modern state and nation state? First of all, we shall begin with modern state. The modern state. It is a centralized power exercised by a sovereign control over a clearly defined territory. Nation state. Now, what is nation state? It is one in which the majority of its citizens and rulers came to develop a sense of common identity and shared history. The rise of nationalism deals with many of the issues visualized by Frederick Sorio and will look at the diverse process through which nation state and nationalism came into being in the 19th century Europe. Frederick Sorio. The painting of Frederick Sorio, it is given in the textbook in the figure number 1. He is a French artist. He was notable for his work testifying the liberal and nationalist revolutionary in France and in Europe. In the year 1848, he prepared a series of 4 prints visualizing his dream of a world made up of democratic and social republic. In the first of his painting, we can see men and women marching across the Statue of Liberty to offer homage. The statue holds a torch of enlightenment and the charter of the rights of men. And finally, the remains of the absolutist institution can be seen broken and scattered on the earth, indicating the end of conservatism and absolutism. He does visualize countries as nation state, end of monarchy and democracy. Thus, during the 19th century, nationalism emerged as a force which brought huge change in the political and mental world of Europe. Now, how nationalism came into Europe? First of all, the idea of nation, the idea of nationalism came with the French Revolution. The French Revolution contributed towards the rise of nationalism in Europe, had a great impact. The French Revolution of 1789 paved the way for a modern nation state. In 1789, nationalism came with French Revolution, and the political and constitutional change led to the transfer of sovereignty from the monarchy to a body of French citizens. Various measures and practices were introduced, such as the idea of la patrie, that is fatherland, and le citoyen, the citizen. It emphasized the notion of a united community enjoying equal rights under a constitution. The new France flag, the tricolor, was chosen to replace the former one. The State General was elected by the body of active citizens and renamed the National Assembly. New hymns were composed, oath taken, and martyr commemorated, all in the name of the nation. A centralized administrative system was put in place and it formulated uniform law for all citizens within its territory. Internal custom duties and dues were abolished and a uniform system of weight and measure was adopted. Regional dialects were discouraged and France, as it was spoken and written in Paris, became the common language of the nation. The revolutionaries further took responsibility to liberate the people of Europe from despotism. As a result, the Jacobin Club was founded by the students and a member of educated middle class and began to carry on the idea of nationalism abroad. However, democracy destroyed in France by Napoleon. The Civil Code of 1804, known as Napoleonic Code, did away with all privilege based on birth, established equality before the law, and secured the right to property. Thus, during the 19th century, nationalism emerged as a force which brought huge change in the political and mental world of Europe, and the end result of this change was the nation state.